What's going on, everybody? American Football Network here with another video today. And today we're bringing you guys our Georgia Tech versus Clemson preview and prediction video. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Help me reach that goal of 1,100 subs by the end of October. We're about 30 away, so let's go on that. Let's hit that goal. Check out the description where you'll find the link to our shop, podcast, website, Patreon page, as well as our college football roundup channel that we do with the football experts. So check all that stuff out. But let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So we got Georgia Tech versus Clemson coming into this one this Saturday. It'll be 12 o'clock on ABC. Georgia Tech comes in 5-4 overall, 4-2 in the conference, with wins over a loss at Louisville versus Louisville week 1, 39-34. Beat South Carolina State the next week 48-13. Lost at Ole Miss 48-23. Beat Wake Forest 30-16. Lost to Bowling Green 38-27. Beat Miami on the road 23-20. Lost to Boston College at home 38-23. Beat North Carolina at home 46-42. Then went on the road to Virginia and won 45-17. So it has been a very back and forth season for the Yellow Jackets. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, win. So they finally have won 2 straight games in a row. They've just been very back and forth all season long, and they finally can win 2 in a row against Virginia, and now they got to come to Clemson. So a pretty rough 3-game stretch. They played a very good North Carolina team, at least offensively, and had to outlast them at home. They did. They had to go on the road. Now, Virginia is not a great team, but they had to go on the road to Virginia. Now they got to go on the road to Clemson, who's coming off a huge win against Notre Dame. And you look at Clemson, they come in at 5-4 overall as well, but 2-4 in the conference. Georgia Tech sits in 3rd in the ACC standings. Clemson sits in 10th. It has not been a good year in ACC play, and really overall for the Tigers. As week 1, they lost at Duke 28-7, beat Charleston Southern 66-17, beat FAU 48-14, lost to Florida State 31-24 at home in overtime, beat Syracuse on the road 31-14, beat Wake Forest 17-12, lost at Miami 28-20, lost at NC State 24-17, and beat Notre Dame 31-23. Then they have Georgia Tech up this week. So this is going to be a fun game. Both these teams, it's a historic rival between them. They've played 87 times, and now they're both playing against each other to be bowl eligible. So this is going to be fun. This will be fun to see if one of these teams can get the bowl eligibility. You look at the series history between them. Georgia Tech leads the all-time series 50-35-2. But Clemson has won 8 straight games against Georgia Tech. And Dabo, looking at him, he has never lost to Georgia Tech at home, and he's 11-3 against them all time. Georgia Tech hasn't won in Death Valley since 2008, and that was against Tommy Belden. That was before Dabo took over as the interim, but he would later that year. But now on to our big 3 factors for this game. These are what I feel like is going to decide the game for these teams, and what's really going to lead to a win for one of them either way. So let's go ahead and get started with those. Number 1 for the Tigers, and their big 3 factors for the Tigers to win. Number 1 is prevent big plays. All right, Georgia Tech is 13th in yards per play offensively, averaging 6.5 yards a play. Clemson's defense is allowing just 4.5 yards a play. That is 11th in the country. So elite offense versus elite defense right here. Georgia Tech has 6 wide receivers with an average of 13-plus yards a catch. And Georgia Tech is averaging 5.7 yards a carry and 12.8 yards a catch, whereas Clemson's only allowing 3.4 yards per carry and 9.92 yards per catch. Both of those are top 12 in the country. So, this is going to be a big matchup to watch, is that Georgia Tech offense versus the Clemson defense. Georgia Tech can move the ball. They've got some pieces. Haynes King has been a good quarterback for them. this season. He's also dangerous if you let him out of the pocket to take off and run. Um, so you got to stop this offense because their defense is terrible. Their defense is just flat out awful. So you got to stop the offense, and if you can stop their offense, then you'll win the game. So that's the number one key for me for Clemson to win this football game is they got to stop the Georgia Tech offense, which is I would consider it an elite offense considering they're top 20 in basically every offensive statistic. They're number 13 in yards per play, like I mentioned. They're averaging 6.5. That's an elitish offense right there. It's not the most elite, but it's pretty elite. My number two key to the game for Clemson, we talked about the bad defense for Georgia Tech. Number two is key to the game is attack offensively. And this is not about the Clemson offense. This is about the Georgia Tech defense. Georgia Tech is 125th, allowing 6.4 yards of play. They're 126 in total defense, allowing 455.2 yards per game. Georgia Tech rank 129th in rush defense, allowing 220 yards per game. They're also allowing 5.27 yards per carry. So this is a team that, yes, you look at how elite that offense is and what they're allowing. Defensively, they're allowing teams to put up the same numbers, which means in games they're allowing teams to be elite offenses. And so Clemson has the talent to do it. Now, they haven't came around. They haven't been playing this way this year, but they definitely have the talent and the guys to do it. And so I don't see why Clemson's not going to have 400 yards of offense in this game. Georgia Tech's just not going to be able to stop them. Clemson has some momentum, some energy, some fire to them, and I think that they're going to be able to move the football. I mean, they've outgained every opponent except for NC State, I believe. Pretty sure NC State has been the only team all season to outgain Clemson offensively. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Just the biggest thing for Clemson is can you finish drives and not settle for field goals or turn the ball over in the red zone, which they did a good job of last week. They didn't settle for a whole lot of field. I think they settled for 2 field goals. Once they got down there, might have even just been one, and they really weren't they really weren't turning the ball over at all. I mean, they had one pick, and that was a bad snap. Then Cade kind of throw. It was just a lot of stuff that went wrong on that play. It wasn't just just a terrible read, and he just throws a pick. Now there's a lot of stuff going on right there, and they still got a lucky bounce. The deflection to pick it. So that's the biggest thing is just avoid the turnovers because offensively you're going to be able to move the football on them. You should outgain them considering your defense is elite. And so I think Clemson can be able to handle. And number 3 is just play with the same fire and energy from last week. That looked like a different team. It really did. They just played so much differently, and they just looked so much different. They looked so much more into the game. They looked so much more energized. They looked fired up. They looked hyped up for the game, and they came to play, especially on that defensive line, man. The way that the body language of those guys all game long was they can't stop us, and they were just eating all day long. Xavier Thomas lived in the backfield, killed Blake Fisher. TJ Parker, the true freshman, was absolutely destroying Joe Alt a lot of plays, who is considered probably the best tackle in the country, and TJ Parker was whooping him a lot of plays. So like this D line came ready to play. This whole team came ready to play. And I want to see them do that again this week. Play with that same energy and the fire that they had. It's time this week to clinch a bowl game. So we'll see if they're able to do it. But now time for the score prediction. So a look here. Clemson is favored by 14.5 points in this game. I don't think they cover. I just don't know if offensively they're going to score 15 more points than Georgia Tech, considering Georgia Tech does have a good offense as well. So I think Clemson wins by about 10 points. I have them winning this one 34-24. That is my score prediction for this one. But make sure you guys comment your score predictions down below in the comment section. as we will be doing a shout out for the winners of our score prediction contest to the winners, whoever gets the score closest. So make sure you guys do that. But yeah, I think Clemson wins 34-24. I think the home field, the military appreciation gets the crowd into it. And I think that Clemson is going to have a good day here, and I think they become bowl eligible. But that wraps up today's video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know who you think is going to win, and we hope to see you guys next time. We hope you enjoyed today's video. That's it for us. We'll see you.